Hello students, how are you there? Now I hope you are in the best of health. I'm your Cikgu Vijay from Pusat Vision Rakan. Today, I'm going to go through with you a chapter in biology. Before I do so, I would like to thank you for all those wonderful remarks that you have sent to me via email, via SMS, as well as on my Facebook. Thank you, students. Now, today what I'm going to do with you, I'm going to teach you and simplify the chapter of movement of substances across the plasma membrane. Alright? It's a very important chapter because you would be using this chapter in many other chapters in biology. I think you will agree with me, right? Yes. Students, before we enter into this chapter, just would like to let you know, students, please join us at our Facebook. Our Facebook ID is Pusat Tuition Rakan. I've uploaded some videos over there so that you could also learn some of the chapters through the Facebook. Right? And we could stay connected through Facebook. That will be a good place for you to join in. Okay? Apart from that, I've also put in some notes for other subjects as well, SPM, Sejarah, including my subjects, physics, chemistry, biology. So you can go to my website at www.rakan.edu.my in order for you to get those notes. But remember, you must register as a member in order for you to get those notes. Alright? I'll be uploading notes from time to time, so they'll be good for you. You could also watch my other subjects. I put in some YouTube video on physics, chemistry by just typing Cikgu Vijay in YouTube. Okay, students? Alright, let's go to this chapter, movement of substances across plasma membrane. Now, this chapter is basically very simple, but I understand that many students do not understand this chapter. Alright? Movement of substances across the plasma membrane. Okay? Now many students have problem with this chapter because I noticed that they don't have a proper understanding. Now I'm going to simplify the entire chapter for you. Stay with me, alright? Okay, movement of substances across this plasma membrane can be broken into two simple divisions. Number one will be passive. Number two will be active. Okay, students? Now what does passive mean, students? Now imagine someone is passive. Normally someone who's passive will be very lazy. They won't move. They'll be in a particular place. What can you understand from here, students? Yes, I hear some of you are telling me the answer. You are absolutely right. Good, wonderful. You are right. Passive means they use very less energy, or in this case, passive means energy is not needed. Yes, you are right. So passive here means a process where energy is not required. This is point number one. Point number one, energy is not required. Point number two, it happens along the concentration gradient. Can you see that answer? What does it mean by along the concentration gradient? It means that from a high concentrated area to a low concentrated area, as if it is going down a slope. It's going down a slope from high concentrated area to low concentrated area. This is what which is meant by passive transportation. Active, on the contrast, means that number one, it needs energy. It requires energy, and this energy is normally obtained from ATP, adenosine triphosphate molecules. energy-rich molecules in our body. Number 2, students. Number 2, active transport also goes along or follows the concentration gradient. Alright? Along the concentration, forgive me, against the concentration gradient. Against the concentration gradient. Can you see that, student? What does against the concentration gradient mean? It means that from a low concentrated area to a high concentrated area. Can you see that, student? That means it goes against the concentration gradient. It goes up the slope. Yes, easily understood in that manner. Got it, students? That is the reason why energy is needed, because it is going against the concentration gradient. Got it? Alright, so I repeat again. Movement across the plasma membrane. Transportation here, there are 2 types. Number 1, passive. Number 2, active. Passive here means it doesn't require any energy. Number 2, it follows the concentration gradient. Means from high concentrated area to low concentrated area. Got it, students? On the other hand, active transportation here means that it requires energy in the form of ATP, and number 2, it goes against the concentration gradient, means from low concentrated area to high concentrated area. Got it, students? Alright. Now, here, passive transport is broken into 2. Diffusion and osmosis. Alright, diffusion and osmosis. When diffusion is broken into 2, simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Got it, students? Now let's take a look what's the difference between diffusion and also osmosis. One distinct difference between diffusion and also osmosis is that osmosis is only for movement of water molecules. This is very important. Water molecules. I repeat again, students. Osmosis is movement for water molecules only. Yes, you got to understand that. Okay, students? Where else? Over here. Yeah? Which is diffusion is for all the other molecules. Now simple diffusion here means that it occurs from high concentrated area to low concentrated area without any help from any other particles. Got it, students? That means it just happens like that. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have a beaker, alright? I put in copper sulfate. Copper sulfate here is blue in color. This is water. So what happens is that this copper sulfate will diffuse. What does diffuse here mean? Move in all direction. Because copper sulfate here is highly concentrated and here low concentrated. So copper sulfate will move from high concentrated to low concentrated area. And at the same time, water here is highly concentrated and here low concentrated. So the water molecules will diffuse in. Can you see that, students? Until at the end, the whole beaker is evenly distributed by copper sulfate and also water molecules. And this is simple diffusion. Can you see that now? But for facilitated diffusion, it involves carrier proteins. Can you see that now? For facilitated diffusion, it's similar to this simple diffusion, but it has an extra element where it involves carrier proteins. Can you see that, sir? Carrier proteins are involved in facilitated diffusion. And this is the difference between facilitated diffusion and simple diffusion. I hope you can understand this, students. Alright? Now for osmosis, I will explain to you in greater detail in my next video. So I hope you have got a clearer picture about movement of substances across the plasma membrane through my explanation. Okay, students? So again, please do go and tell your friends about my video. Just ask them to click to Cikgu VJ in YouTube, and there are so many YouTube that I've uploaded, and ask them to go and watch so that they can understand. Students, the reason why I'm doing this is to help as many students as possible out there so that they find these subjects of science stream, whether it is physics, chemistry, biology or admits, easy. Trust me, it is actually very easy. It's only that people do not know how to make the subject matter simple. Alright? So I hope you have benefited from my teaching where I made it very simple for you. Alright? And trust me, it is simple. So do not memorize, students, try to understand. So this is the method of understanding. I've given you a simple mind map. This mind map would help you to understand this topic in a better manner. Please take down this mind map and do attend for my tutorial classes if possible. I have students coming from very far. You should not hesitate coming for my classes as well. Okay? Thank you, students. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.